I gave my manuscript to Jonathan Ball. They came back to me and said, Prince, wow, we like this book and we would like to publish it. I began having discussions with them. Eventually, we signed a contract. In that contract that I signed with Jonathan Ball, and this is important, there was no provision that required me to disclose the source of the funding for the research project. This is very important. And I did not disclose because, one, there was no provision in Jonathan Ball's contract. Number two, the contract that I had signed with Herman had a non-disclosure provision. So I couldn't disclose to other parties the contract that I had signed with Herman Mashaba. This is what has caused a lot of confusion. People say I lied.
Well, when you were with JJ, when you said that it was self-funded and then also that it was unauthorized, I think that's the gist of it as well. We're also trying to understand when you were speaking to Mr. Mashaba and you're explaining the workflow, you know, justifying 12.5 million rand for the project over 4 years. I mean, there's a lot along the value chain, the research, perhaps the locations, the people, etc., the news desk researcher. Help us understand how you justified the 12.5 million to Mr. Mashaba then.
The 12.5 million has been confirmed. The ActionSA issued a statement, so I can speak publicly about that aspect. I developed the budget, and Brutus was not involved in that. I developed the budget as the author of the book. I itemized the budget according to what would be required over a period of 4 years. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. And I took the budget to Herman. And Herman, the two of us entered into a loan agreement. By the way, it's a loan agreement. It's not a grant. I still need to repay Herman Mashaba, the loan agreement. So he accepted it. When he accepted it, that's where the 12.5 million comes from. So it was my proposal. It was accepted on the other side. And this is very important because people said 12.5 million. Let me tell you. What you have accepted as your salary here at the SABC was purely on the basis of your negotiations.
Yes.
And the SABC accepted. I never stole anyone's money. I simply went to make a proposal and it was accepted. And I was happy. And I'm still happy today.
Were the publishers asking questions about how a freelancer, you know, could get the amount of money to fund a project like this? Was the 12.5 ever discussed during your negotiations with them? What questions came around in that negotiation?
The negotiations were not complicated with Jonathan Ball, I must say.
Okay.
First and foremost, they were impressed with the quality of the book. And I must, by the way, I have it in writing. I can quote for you what they said. Okay. They were impressed with the quality of the book, number one. Number two, they were surprised that in the book there was sensitive information. They even thought maybe Mashaba and his family could sue us, given what I had written in the book. That's where, by the way, they concluded this is an unauthorized biography. I need to explain this unauthorized where it comes from.
Please do.
It does not come from me, by the way. And if you want evidence, there are 2 lines. I can show you the emails. It comes from Jonathan Ball. When an author writes a book, the author does not actually decide the title. The publisher, they know their experience in terms of marketing and all of that. They are the ones who say, if we give it this title, we think it would be catchy in the bookstores. My preferred title, by the way, was Herman Mashaba, The Outsider. But they told me that the unauthorized biography would do better in terms of being catchy. And you know what? I accepted that. But I anticipated that there could be a problem of interpretation, which is why in my preface to the book, if you have read the book, I have explained the nature of my relationship with Mashaba. And the essence of it is this,